Well, good morning, everyone. Duncan, good morning.
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
Hang on, let me check. You know what? I'm doing great. Having a great
Good.
conference today. Great morning today. We're breaking news this morning. We're sharing some amazing information from some amazing companies, and so we're gonna let you take the floor here momentarily. So, folks, for those of you that have tuned in specifically for Duncan's presentation this morning, my name is Kevin Vincent. I'm the senior contributing editor here at Mining Life and Exploration News. We are a sister company of Vertex, which is a division of Mining Life, and Canadian TradeX, our global virtual conferencing system. And welcome to Mining the Abbatibi virtual conference. This is a global event, and it's a special event, and it's brought to you by some great companies like Kirkland Lake Gold and Wesdome, and companies like Canada Nickel, G4 Drilling, and so many others. So our fifth speaker today is none other than Duncan Middlemass, who is an old friend. Let me rephrase that: a longtime friend. Let me rephrase that. He's a great friend of Mining Life, and has been connected to the big event, our actual bricks and mortar show, and for quite some time now. Great friend of our organization. We appreciate it. And Duncan, we know you've got some exciting things happening with Wesdome, all the way from Lake Superior right into Quebec, and there's nothing but blue sky, it looks like, ahead for Wesdome. So thank you for joining us this morning and giving us the latest on what's going on with your great company.
Great, Kevin. Thanks very much. Just to let you know, I'm at least 5 years away from my old age security, so I'm not feeling that bad. Anyways, I really appreciate having the opportunity to talk to everybody. I really miss going to the big event in person. It certainly is a really special event. For those of you who may know, I'm born and raised in Kirkland Lake, and a very good connection with Timmins. I mean, my grandmother and uncles and aunts were there, and so I really love the area. I really love the people, and it's really a great adventure, I would say, for being a part of a company, Wesdome, which is really kind of on the eastern part of the Abbatibi, and I sort of liken the Wawa area to being on the western part of the Abbatibi. I mean, it is definitely the same sort of setting. So as Kevin mentioned, lots to tell you about Wesdome. Really proud about the evolution. I think just looking at the title slide here, and beautiful picture of Kiena Mine, which we've just announced the restart to. So it's really exciting, and a big part of us becoming Canada's next mid-tier gold producers. So for those of you who know, we do have an existing asset in Wawa. It's producing close to 100,000 ounces. And now we've got a positive pre-feasibility study in which the board has approved to go ahead. We'll actually start production quite shortly. As you can see, the infrastructure is all there. It's a historic property that was developed in the 80s and the 90s and run by Placer Dome. And so certainly, we're quite proud to be able to come to this juncture, I would say, on really becoming Canada's next mid-tier. So without further ado, I'll get into it. Some of the things I say will be forward-looking. I think that's all we need to know about that. So anyways, the proposition for Wesdome, what's made us, successful over the past 5 years is, jurisdiction. But listen, the Abbatibi is one of the world-class jurisdictions. Number one, there's no sense having a great jurisdiction if you don't have any gold there. So the geological setting is perfect. I mean, we look at the millions of ounces, that have been extracted along the Porcupine Destour, along the Cadillac Larder Lake Fault. It's really awe-inspiring to see that kind of gold, and there's still a lot more to be discovered. So we see that. As I said, our production base right now is in Wawa, Ontario, just outside of Wawa, about 50 kilometers as the crow flies. The other mine, the Kiena mine, just outside of Val-d'Or, Quebec. So quite frankly, I don't think we could get in any better of a jurisdiction than what we are currently enjoying. We're also blessed with high grade. I mean, the Eagle mine's got reserves of 13.4 grams. We just declared resources at the Kiena mine at 11.9 grams. So we're definitely blessed with some high grade here, and a very, I'd say both areas have a lot of exploration potential, which we're really starting to uncover. We've got huge exploration budgets at both properties. As I say, we love them equally. We've got $16 million set aside for the Eagle River property in Ontario and $16 million set aside for the Kiena property. So this by far is the company's largest endeavor in the exploration field ever. So it's good to see. We do love, jurisdictionally it's low risk, but also, we have existing infrastructure. As I said, Kiena, I showed you a nice picture of Kiena. I mean, the head frames there, the mill's there. We've already, started the mill up to process the bulk samples. So we've basically de-risked the Kiena mine restart significantly by doing some of these events. Everything is in good shape there, and we're quite confident that production should start in the third quarter. Albeit at a lower amount than what it would get to in a couple of years, but certainly going to be very contributing to the bottom line. And management, I would be remiss if I did not mention the team around me. It definitely, it looks a lot like the former St. Andrews management team, which I was associated with back until 2016, and we got sold to Kirkland Lake Gold, and really proud of what we've been able to do both at St. Andrews and now at Wesdome. So you can see just off to the right the relative share price performance, and I think really we've had some pretty good traction here over the last 3 years. So, as I mentioned, the high quality asset base, you can see they're relatively close in terms of Canada. However, it is a good 8-hour drive between Val-d'Or and Wawa, but something which we're quite happy to do. Guidance at Eagle River this year is 92 to 105,000 ounces. Really good cost. We're in around, really 1,000 to 1,100 US an ounce. Reserves are currently at about 581,000 ounces at Eagle. And we do have good resource base in which to look to the future and convert. You can see that there's over 300,000 ounces there of combined high grade mineralization. Quebec, the Kiena mine, it really, continues to generate some very exciting results for us, both on exploration and, through the technical study. We just see the robustness of the project and the kind of returns that we're going to get here. And so right now we view the pre-feasibility study as a base case. We're able to, show everybody we can sort of do an average of 84,000 ounces. However, we all believe it's going to certainly grow from there. That this is a base case. You can see the reserves newly declared 600,000 ounces at almost 12 grams, and a lot of resources on the property there to convert into reserves. So potentially very good mine life and some really good upside here at both properties. Our responsible mining commitment, I think we reported, our 2020 sustainability through our ESG, our environmental, social, and governance report. That can be found on our website. We, really want to do things responsibly. We've taken the Mining Association of Canada's really guidelines towards sustainable mining program, and that is sort of our guiding light, I would say, in terms of how we deal with all those issues: environmental, social, governance. We certainly do prioritize local employment and procurement. 86% of our workforce at Kiena is local. 46% at Eagle is local. Just Eagle, the sort of catchment area, I would say, is definitely broader. I would think that we have people coming from Rouyn-Noranda all the way to Thunder Bay and Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury. So it's a very large area, as Wawa is a smaller community and certainly very demanded upon by what I would term as a fairly active mining industry going on there right now. So and throughout the pandemic, I mean, our employees have done fantastic. Our contractors and consultants have done fantastic. I always knock on wood when I tell people that, we have not had one case of COVID which has impacted our operations. We're very fortunate about that. We try to support all the communities we're within. We donate to the Wawa Food Bank. We donate to the same programs in Val-d'Or, Quebec. We want to make sure that things are, the communities are good. Local procurement. I'm not sure how I could have possibly ever skipped over that, because really this is one of the driving economic factors. I mean, when we look at what, sort of the information put out there by the Ontario Mining Association about, every dollar invested into mining, comes back 4 times. And big time believer. We see Timmins, Ontario, we see Sudbury, we see Val-d'Or, Rouen area. These are all fantastic mining centers, great for suppliers, expertise, everything that we need, we can find here in the Abitibi. So we're very fortunate. So just ESG again, we always want to do things responsibly. Environment, we're very, very keen to make sure that we have, as low impact as we can. So we're cognizant of that. We've had no significant environmental incidents, as a matter of fact, for quite a while. Governance, we've actually made the Globe and Mail. It's called the 2021 Board Games. We were within the top 20 highest ranking companies in materials. So a lot of the miners are in there. So we've certainly come, a long way with I would say our shareholders' expectations and how we manage the business. We are accountable to everybody. So, and again, more can be found on our website in our ESG report. Socially, as I mentioned before, 86%, big adherence to the local community, making sure that we always have that social license, which really allows us all to be successful and sort of put the win-win in there, which is really what we want to do. Eagle River, nice, underground mine that's been in operation for 25 years now. There's a great sort of map of really what I would term, it's sort of the western end of the Abitibi, but it's the Mishi-Bishu Greenstone Belt. So this is about 3.5 hours away from Timmins to Wawa, and it's about another hour into the mine site. And so this mine just keeps on giving and giving and giving. The reserve base is increasing. We've been able to essentially double production in the last 5 years. Sort of was a 50,000 ounce producer. We now do about 100,000 ounces. So, and you can see all the neighbors we have here, right? This area, very underexplored. I think it's starting to get a lot more attention, which it really richly deserves. You see Alamos Gold there, the Island Gold project, big investment happening there. Magino, Argonaut, big investment. Eagle River, we've been constantly sort of reinvesting into the company and into the exploration there in order to keep a good sustainable, life ahead of us, and one which we're able to, keep going on. Again, this is more of a geological map, but the Eagle River mine is on the southern claim package that we have, and that really very close to the North Shore of Lake Superior, very underexplored. We're really giving it a good kick at the cat, I would say, in terms of exploration. As I mentioned before, about $16 million along that trend. And I think, our goal here is to, double our mine life, double our reserves, ensure that, the asset stays strong. On site, there's an 850 ton per day mill. We've just finished sort of the one phase of open pit mining there. We do have some minor reserves left up on the north part, the Mishi open pit, but I think there's more exploration to do up there also. However, the focus, miners are guilty of looking for the high grade, and Eagle River certainly does have that. So we're guilty of that. In terms of our mining, our long section, this is really the lay of the land. So you've got the shaft over there on the right hand of the screen, and the shaft goes down to about 600 meters below surface. We've got a ramp system that goes all the way down to close to 1,200 meters now. And, we've had some really good exploration results here. One of them being the Falcon Zone. It's really, the mine always remained within this sort of intrusive called the diorite for many, many years. And all of a sudden, we're starting to find new mineralization out in the surrounding volcanics, which really opens us up to probably 20 kilometers of keen exploration ground, I would say, it really needs to be followed up on. Really high grade, as I mentioned before, the Falcon Zone. You can see some of the hits we've had here: 51 grams over 1.8 meters and 18.6 grams over 12.5 meters. Core length, of course, but really good. The 303 lens, something that has just been fantastic. It's open at depth. It's been just, above average widths, above average grades. It's just such a benefit to Wesdome every time we go in there and sequence some stopes out of it. I mentioned the surface exploration, and this is really what I'm talking about here. What we have, you can probably see my hand here. This is the trend that we're on. These are long shear zones. It's probably 20 kilometers here. The diorite, which I mentioned, is right there and represents that. But really, the Falcon zone, is just sort of sitting in over here off to the left or the west, and essentially we have all these known gold occurrences that need to be followed up on, and that's the little gold dots that we have here. And so we're really excited to get going there. So we got 3 surface drills, we got a helicopter. Like I said, this is the biggest exploration program that we've done on a regional basis ever here. Kiena, a nice picture of the head frame, as I mentioned, existing infrastructure. Kiena was a good past producing mine. It was developed by Falconbridge Gold, taken over by Placer Dome back in the mid 80s. Total production here was 1.75 million ounces. The sort of the notable thing I would say is, Kiena was kind of sold off to the juniors. I think it was over and out. It was a 4.5 gram mine. So it was, a different sort of mine than what we're seeing here now. And like every other, we look around the Abbatibi and we always see these older properties that, have lost some luster or they've been shut down. And then somebody has new ideas about how, we might be able to find the next mine within that mine. And certainly we've been successful. And when I look at this actual, this is the Abbatibi, pardon me, we just see all the great mines here, the Upper Beaver from Agnico, that was a past producer. Of course, Kiena was. Macassa mine, look at the Dome mine. How long has that gone on for? It's just, there's more to give here. And I think with new ideas, new theories about gold deposition, I think that this area, when we look at this, I just look at the hundreds of millions of ounces which have been extracted and what is left to find here. So we're very happy to be right here in the middle of the Abbatibi. And certainly, as you can see, this is a great place to be. Just quickly on the pre-feasibility study, we did that sort of an annual production of 84,000 ounces. It's going to go over 100,000 ounces. We always looked at this as base case. Mine life currently of 7 years. We've already had some really exciting exploration results, which would definitely lead us to believe that we're going to be able to extend that and probably increase annual production. You can see the all-in sustaining costs. Very low cost, less than $900 Canadian per ounce based on that. Great cash flow. We're going to be able to add, $86 million a year in terms of free cash flow to the company. So this is a real, I would say, on our scale, a real company making, adventure that we're about to go on here. Certainly, it's it's getting into production very quickly. Also, we're going to be able to start generating gold here in the third quarter. So, I mentioned, this is the Kiena mine, and what's there? Well, there's a shaft that goes down to 930 meters. There's a ramp system that goes down to about 1125 right now, which would bring us to about here. So the ramp, we've got to get going down to there. Lots of exploration upside here. This is an interesting mine in that everything's sort of above the 1,000 meters. I know it's sort of skewed on this view, but everything was sort of the lower grade, the 4.5 grams material. And it's like everything below that line just seems to sort of flip over into this high grade quartz vein type structures, and really exciting. So it's gone from kind of I would say a quantity situation into a quality situation. So we're very fortunate. Here, I mentioned a really good discovery here, and I think that this is the footwall of the Azone. The Azone is, of course, the majority of our high-grade reserves. We found something, about, I'd say back in March, we announced the first thing. We had no idea this was here. And then a couple of weeks ago, we announced a very special hole, one that I don't think I've seen in my life. But this sits about 50 meters into the footwall, and we're going down to do the development on the Azone and the A1 and the A2. This was all part of the pre-feasibility. Everything in the footwall here has been totally, unknown, and we're just starting to do our work here in order to further define it. But I think we're excited about it just because you can see some of the grades here. some of the widths, although they're not true widths because we are drilling from, you know, probably inopportune platforms up above, but we certainly do have some really special holes. Actually, the hole that I was talking about was 41 grams over 51 meters, which we hit down around here, around the 1750 elevation. So we've got about 300 meters of this zone defined. It's not really stopped on the going up or going down. So we're just getting going here, but it's really exciting for us on top of all the other great targets we have within Kiena. So we're 7 drills underground here. We've got 5 drills underground at Eagle. We've got 2 to 3 on surface at Kiena, and we've got 2 to 3 on surface at Eagle. So we're certainly giving it a very good shot in terms of the exploration focus. Just, you know, we have mill expansion, really capacity, I would say. Eagle River, 850 tons a day. Right now we're scheduled for 850 tons a day, but the actual mill can do 2,000. Eagle River can do a little more too. So it's a matter of, you know, being successful in exploration, continuing with the investment into both Kiena and Eagle in order to bring forth the best outcome we can for Wesdome. So Kevin, that's it in a nutshell. I hope I didn't take too much time, but you can tell I'm excited about our prospects.
Duncan, what a great presentation. Thank you so much for that. Just a great update on a great company. You know, I'm looking at those deep drill holes and, you know, those numbers that you hit in those deep areas. You've got companies like Walbridge that have zones that are called, like, you know, Area 51 and Topaz, Cayenne, you know, the hot things. You guys should name that one the King Tut hole, because that seems like you've really hit something exciting there.
Yeah, well, I keep bothering our geos, especially at Kiena, to be a little more creative in what they call things. I said, well, we can't just call this the footwall zone. Come on, it's got to be something. So A1 and A2, that's, yeah, but you know what? Probably 1 million ounces in there all told. So we'll take it. You call it whatever you want, right?
Exactly. Well, Duncan, thank you so much. We need to make a little bit of room here for one of your neighbors, Alamos Gold. Jamie Berger is up next here on our speakers list. And thank you so much for putting together this great presentation for our Mining the Abbatibi virtual conference. We know that you know, we take a great interest in watching the success of Wesdome, and we know that that story is just beginning, especially with Kiena and everything else that you got going on. So Duncan, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to have you back again very, very soon.
Great, thanks very much.